Hey everybody, this is Karma coming at you with Battle of Olympus as part of NES Block. We'll go ahead and get the names entered here with the obvious choice of NES Block. I'll have a bit of time to explain here. I'll go ahead and count us in. 3, 2, 1, go. So right off the bat, you'll probably notice this is quite a bit like Zelda 2. That is not a coincidence. This game was made by a small team of a husband and wife combo, plus the composer from River City Ransom.
What?
Yeah! There's a really good interview about it by Jeremy Parrish. Highly recommend looking it up.
Genuinely, I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, it's an incredible interview that gives a little insight into this, but basically about a year after Zelda 2, this came out as like kind of a tribute to it, but with like, you know, Greek mythology instead. So it's not, you can call it a ripoff, but it's more of an homage, I guess. A love letter.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to start off here by farming a ton of olives because all of the gods in this game that give us items want to be paid a currency, and that currency for us is olives.
Wait, so all of the bosses?
All of the gods want olives. Yes, yes. Do you believe it? So yeah, we can get olives and bay leaves as drops from these. Every enemy we kill has a 1/4 chance to drop a bay leaf, a 1/4 chance to drop an olive, and a 1/2 chance to drop nothing. After we get a total of 100 drops in the area, so anytime we transition map screens like you saw at the start, that is like going to a new area that resets everything. But once we get 100 total combined drops between olives and bay leaves, the chances for getting items gets cut down to 1/8. So generally when you hit about 40 to 60 olives, you're probably going to see a decrease in how many you're getting. This is the best farming screen in the game because there's 6 enemies that you can kind of group up and kill very quickly. Getting them to a point where you can actually group them up and kill them like this takes a bit of practice, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually, well, I had a little bit of a hiccup there, but, you know. This is still faster than the other next fastest methods, which would probably be over in Attica, taking out the scorpions and the satyrs. So we can get anywhere from 1 to 6 olives, well, 0 to 6, but, you know. We're gonna shoot for about 45 olives on this first grind because that should put us in a comfortable spot to be able to have enough olives for what we need for the rest of the run. We're gonna be spending a total of 130 olives. 60 olives first on the ocarina and 70 on the divine sword. And the other thing about farming like this is if you push past the lower chances, you still had a hard 75 cap of each resource that can drop in an area, but before you have to go to another area. Ooh, nice little 5-stack there. Happy with that. Looking at the timer right now, yeah, I'm about like a minute behind where I would hope to be in my PB. So yeah.
Resetting on olive grinds.
The any percent speed run for this is definitely a lot of olive grind resets, which is part of why I like to joke that this song is in my nightmares. Anyway, Toccata and Fugue. Everything's normal. You have to kneel down to talk to gods in this game. We're going to talk to Zeus here, who is basically going to tell the other gods, yeah, this NES guy, he's cool, you can help him. And this is, was it Eurydice? Pronunciation, I'm bad. But, Orpheus and Eurydice? Eurydice? Eurydice, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this is that tale where, Hades kidnapped our girlfriend, and we're going down to save her. So basically we need to find the 3 fragments of love to reveal the path to Tartarus. And Or should I say, in Macaw's emote, Tartessus. I like that emote too much. Anyway, yeah, we're going down there to save our girlfriend. So we're heading over here to Argolis, and what we want to do here is get we want to talk to Hermes to get our sandals, because we want to be able to jump high and flip gravity. Those sound like generally good things to be able to do.
Yeah.
And very normal things for a pair of sandals to be able to let you do.
Right, I mean, I've never had a really good pair of sandals, so I don't really... I always get cheap ones.
Yeah. Oh, but Hermes isn't here, so this guy tells us to go home. Alright, so we're just gonna leave. Also, that snake hit that I got there, where I kind of scooted up and snuck past the bat and got through the snake. Enemies in this game, when you hit them and they go into hit stun, you can actually, like, pass through them and not be taking damage. So we're going to be taking advantage of that a few times throughout this run. If that bat had gone lower and knocked us back, we would have been knocked back onto the platform and then had a little bit of an easier jump. The one that I got there was a bit of a trickier one, so I'm kind of happy it, like, worked out that way. So, guess what we get to do?
Do we get to farm?
Yep. We get to farm more olives. So yeah, my farming path is 45, 45, 40. So we're gonna get like our second big farm going here, and by big I mean 5 olives more than my last farm. It's slightly larger. At one point, yeah. I guess I might as well say it here, but this was like a game that I had played casually, and somebody in my chat had just been like, hey, you should speedrun this. And I like looked at it and I was like, I don't even know where to start. And Breakdown had posted a thread on SDA. Darkwing Duck linked me to that thread. And like Breakdown's route was basically based off of a no left and right glitch.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, you know how Zelda 2 has that? So does this. And thankfully that task had some really nice routing ideas. And so Breakdown kind of took that and formed it into a more human possible route. And then I took that and made a few additions to it myself and like grinded it out. And so like, I don't know, I kind of just love like the collaboration there and just like the iterative nature of how this run evolved. So shout outs to Breakdown.
Yeah, that's a breakdown.
So yeah, at one point we were considering getting it in 2 sessions of 65 olives rather than trying to go for like the 3 grinds, but that was before we had the details known about the how the olives work and how you kind of slow down over time. So it's better to do like grinds that are 50 or less in general, unless you have a really good reason to need more than 50 olives in one grind.
I'm telling Jerry, by the way.
Oh, did we hit or skip 69? No!
Yeah, you went from 67 to 70.
Dang it!
If you want, we can reset.
I think for the sake of everyone here who might have runs to do, I would rather not reset just so I can hit the funny number of olives. Plus, we'll have another chance later.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Oh,
good.
okay. Not nice yet.
Oh,
I'm
right.
just gonna go for like one
Well,
more. Oh,
The potential for nice still exists.
yes, the potential
Okay,
for nice.
That's okay by me.
Yeah.
They're
I
calling on you.
I went ahead and did an extra hit, and I'm glad there because I got another 3 olives from that. I did a hit of olives. Alright, so now that we've been told to go back, we're gonna head back over here and talk to Zeus again, but it's actually Hermes now. Hooray! So now we can get sandals that let us jump higher, but one thing the game doesn't tell you here is that they let you actually flip gravity if you hold the jump button.
Oh.
So this is kind of like, this is one of those games where your jump height depends purely on how your momentum is, rather than like how long you hold A. So no matter how long I hold A, I'm gonna jump that same height. It's just about how fast I'm moving. The thing that holding A does, however, is determine if you flip gravity or not. So yeah, we're gonna be taking advantage of that a fair bit throughout the run here. Whoops, I meant to flip there. Slow bird. I usually like that one to be moving faster so that I can stun into it. Alright, so we're gonna do a little damage boost here. You're supposed to use the Staff of Fennel with fire to get through that, but you know, just turning around at the last second also lets you through. I grabbed a password, right? Well, sure hope I did.
Yeah, I did hear the words of the
Okay,
guy.
okay, good, good.
A bunch of gibberish.
Okay, good, we're good. So here's the Hydra. We're gonna stay at just a little bit of a distance. Okay, not quite in the right spot here. There we go. Now we're at the good, oh, well, never mind. It did the one jump that it can do that messes with me a little bit. Basically, we're gonna try and keep it in a loop here where we can just keep hitting it as soon as it comes out. One thing about this game that might not necessarily be clear, but is very important to keep in mind is if you mash as fast as you can, you will actually have less uptime with your weapon than if you just kind of timed it out with little slower presses. Because every time you hit the button to swing, you pull your weapon back a little bit first. So you kind of want to like do a much slower mash than just full-on mashing if you want to just keep your weapon out as much as possible. Particularly for the Hydra fight. I'm probably not going to be specifically going for kills and olives on the way here, but this one often drops one. Alright, so we're going to go left one and left one more to get to this temple. And we're going to get the harp. And why not, another password. Hear the word of the gods, don't forget it. Left 2, right 1 to get forward here. The sword is twice as powerful as the club that we start with. And one of the people tells you that there's this ambrosia in the trees here, so that's how you know to look for it there. We're going to try and keep this guy stun locked with 4 hits. Easy. Whoop. I like to come out this way because that lets me hit the bat, but then I missed. Alright, Laconia. This area is very, very chaotic because these birds are always flying by dropping rocks. You got the monkeys that like to stall their jumps randomly. And if I'm not careful here... Whoop, did not mean to flip there. I want to hit this pillar and drop down here. Funny thing, if you have a lot of momentum and come in from the left side there, you can actually drop into the death zone instead of falling down to the second screen below. I've actually had that happen on a run that was on really good pace. So that's why I tend to either slow down a lot or hit it from the right side. Alright, so we're going to take out the ocarina, which is where we spent our first 60 olives. Another difference between this game and Zelda 2 is how the darkness works. In this game, you can see enemies perfectly, but you cannot see terrain whatsoever. So the important thing is, if you're going to be doing anything in the dark in this game, you have to get a system for moving through the terrain without being able to see it. Alright, anytime an enemy drops something, those rocks do 4 damage, so I really wanted to not get hit by that. Another NPC tells you about the flask there. Alright, so next we're going to be using the harp, so I'm going to switch to that immediately.
Dolphin height.
Unfortunately not the ocarina. The harp lets us stun the harpy. We just need to get 3 hits. Her hitbox is actually kind of tricky. There's a bottomless pit I just jumped over there. We just need to take these out to get the Orb of Gree. And, oh, whoop. Orb.
Or
Important to always call out. Jump over the pit, drop down, jump and jump again, walk back out the door. It's actually not too bad to get back out of there once you like know the general layout and have a couple of things to look for. But it's also really easy to get lost in there if you miss the jump out, so I'm glad I didn't have that happen. Alright, so now that we have our, I guess it's the Eye of Gree? I forget exactly how it's, what it's named. Anyway, you hear this music, you know it's time for farming again. We only need another 36 olives to get up to 70 olives, which is what we're going to need for the Divine Sword. And this time we have some nice little sandals to help us jump over the slimes when they decide that they want to be little jerks. So I'm just going to hang out up here for a little bit. Excuse me. Practice my Marlin wiggle.
Great, now I've got 2 hot jams stuck in my head all overlapping.
It's the Marble Madness one, right?
Obviously.
Anyway, yeah, we're gonna hit 70 olives here so that we can grab the Divine Sword. So speaking of names of people who have also, like, worked on this game a bit, Fiesel actually also tried to poke at this game a bit. And the thing that Fiesel wanted to investigate particularly was to see how viable it would be to skip 70 olives on this route and just get the 60 for the ocarina and call it good there. So I kind of joined him on that exploration, and it's possible, but the final boss is so inconsistent and the final section is so annoying. There's one particular fight where with the Divine Sword it takes about, like, I don't know, 15-20 seconds. Without the Divine Sword it takes 2 minutes. That's because that boss regenerates health over time. And yeah, like, there's 2 reasons we want the Divine Sword. One of them is that it does twice as much damage as this sword that we're using right now. The other is that it has a projectile attack that is extremely useful and very strong. Equally as strong as the sword hit, but still. Are we gonna hit 69 or are we gonna skip it? Yo, we hit it! Yeah, nice! When I did this at AGDQ 2019, one of my partners was back on the couch, and she was very disappointed when we did not hit 69. We skipped it both times. Love you too. Alright, slight flashing warning, I guess, when we get through this next door on the right here. But we're going to open up a hidden door, which is what the main purpose of this orb is. Orb. Ooh. I wasn't actually worried there, I just didn't want to get knocked back again. Alright, so we're going to come in here and grab our first fragment of love, which unlocks the ability to get a key from somebody in Attica, which conveniently enough also happens to be where we need to go next.
You mean to tell me that the sandals weren't the first part of love?
What?
Because I personally would love a pair of sandals that let me flip gravity.
So we're going to take a little bit of a side stop here because we're doing safety strats rather than any percent strats.
WFR horse.
So normally we would head straight to the left here, but conveniently this does drop us up right next to Athena, who's going to give us an item that we don't actually care about. Oh yeah, so by the way, this shield we've had the entire time, it's literally done nothing. now it can actually block projectiles.
Ah,
But we actually just wanted to speak to her so that we could get our password in case we die because we're going into a very dangerous area.
makes sense.
Scorpion. Didn't even drop anything. How rude. Alright, so we need one fragment of love to get that key to be able to move on to the next area. Or rather, specifically, there's a locked door in the next area that we need to open to get the second fragment of love. So it kind of is really awesome how the routing works out here. We're going to switch to the ocarina so that we can wake up a statue here. Or a golem, I guess. Use it about right here. This is going to take 5 hits. I want to try and keep it up here. So I'm going to time out my hits a little bit to not push it off the back. Alright, so this is Thea. And this area is probably every casual player's nightmare. I actually kind of like it now that I've gotten a semi-consistent strategy down for it. I'm glad that that bird dropped something for me. I'm going to take some intentional hits here. Wait, no, hit me again, please. Thank you. Usually that monkey hits me twice on the staircase.
I'm not done with you yet.
We're going to duck under this monkey, lead it back to the left, or maybe it won't follow us the second time. That's the thing about the monkeys. They sometimes delay their attacks. I'm going to take another 2 hits here. Perfect. So we want to be really low on health here, because after we buy the Divine Sword here, we're going to want to take a Death Warp. And there's a funny thing about the sword that we grab here. It's when we use the special attack, it takes half a bar of health. So we're gonna tell him what we think about his shins.
Yo, moonwalking. I didn't know there was moonwalking.
Yeah, you can moonwalk. Anyway, I'm gonna also be draining my health a little bit here because I'm going to be doing the same thing once I get what I need on the right. Whoop. Okay, hold on. You get out. I do not want to take a hit from the bird. That's a little risky.
Wow, that's a chunky hit.
I do have my flask. Yeah, these birds do 4 damage when they hit you. If I take another hit here, that's fine. This game does give you a little bit of a grace period when you take a fatal hit, as long as you manage to use your flask within that period. Flashing warning. Sorry, I could have given that a little earlier. Anyway, here's the door that we needed to unlock with that key. And we're going to get our second fragment of love. And we're just going to drain our health over here on the right side where we don't have to worry about the animation of the lightning. So I am going to have to make a little pit stop in the near future here to refill my flask because I do actually need that for the final boss. This speedrun does not get much health. Normally the health bar can go all the way to the end of like the right side of that little flourish thing under like the heart at the top. Your health bar gets huge in this game if you do 100%, but on top of not getting much health, we're also not grabbing the apple, which cuts the damage you take in half. And we're also not grabbing the bracelet that doubles your power and makes you not take damage from using the sword special. So we are sitting on a very precarious,
Dolphin.
small amount of HP. Also a dolphin. So this is Crete. It's a very maze-like area, but thankfully for any percent, it's not too complex to get through it. Also, this person really wants to show us his axe.
Nice axe.
It's pretty cool.
They must work out.
Back. You haven't seen the coolest part yet.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we will. So we're gonna go to the right side of this door because you keep your momentum going through doors. That lets us get a bit of a better start on that side. Normally we would go in that door, but since I used my flask, there's conveniently a refill right here. Alright, so we're gonna pop in here, attack some shins. Well, that didn't quite work as I had planned, but that's fine. Oh, you know what? I want that. Those enemies don't respawn, so I'm quite happy to grab the extra free health. And now we're going to keep this thing hopefully stun locked for 16 hits. Oops. Let me just get this ready in case I... That's why I did that. Alright. As long as you have your sword out on the first frame that it's vulnerable, you can keep it stun locked pretty easily, but if you get a little too fast on your sword swings, it's easy to accidentally let it drop. So we're going to make a little pit stop by the refill room one more time once we're out of here. But thankfully that's a lot faster than going all the way back through Crete again. So I'm once again quite happy to take the extra room detour. Although I am a little bit bummed that I didn't get the full stun. It always feels cool.
Hits in. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Now we have all three fragments of love, so that reveals the path to Tartessus. Sorry, Tartarus, but...
Shoutouts to Tartessus.
Shoutouts to Tartessus. Whoops, I need to go one more to the right. Can I get some Tartessus in chat? Oh gosh. Alright, so this guy also really wants to show us his axe, but he's even more excited about it, so much so that he's willing to walk on water.
I really want you to see this axe.
I just really have to point that out, because that enemy literally walks on water.
The level of excitement just reminded me of, hey Bart, do you want some brownies before you go to bed?
We're gonna very politely pet this dog. Pet, 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 pet. One head is sated. Pet, 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 pet. The other head is also sated.
Yeah, you can pet the dog in the back.
I do wish to pet a Cerberus someday.
One thing to note is Cerberus's HP regenerates, and that's part of why not having the Divine Sword makes that specific fight take like 2 minutes, because one head regenerates while the other one is being attacked. So yeah, that's definitely part of why we get the Divine Sword, not to mention it makes the final boss take 28 hits instead of 56. Ooh, this is a little bit of an unfortunate situation. Every time the music restarts, that is a checkpoint, so it's okay that I died there. We're just gonna start right here.
Gotcha.
This screen and the very next screen are like the two biggest hell screens, and this is why. The birds can just decide, no, you don't get to pass. Very much jerks in this game. Alright, we have a little bit more room this time, but we're not out of the woods just yet because this screen is also tricky. Thankfully the snake did not delay the shot and fire at the wrong spot there, but we need to like hit the snake and pass through it, and the fireballs that it shoots are very often a problem for getting through. Alright, do a little pattern here to get these little... Whoops. Okay, I kind of messed that up a bit. Usually I like to keep those 3 stun locked. I'm going to take an intentional hit from this bat here. Scoot right on through. And we're coming up on the final temple of the game. Alright, we are here on our heroic quest, and we're here to save our girlfriend. Oops! Thankfully, that's actually just a health refill. Alright, so this maneuver is a little bit tricky here, but we got it. I used to play this game on like an LCD, so I got really used to a particular delay, so when I played this at AGDQ 2019, I had to get used to playing it on a TV with no delay. Which is a really weird problem to have. And that jump like was something that I absolutely practiced in the practice room for like a couple of hours at least. Just constantly reloading that state with somebody playing Zelda 2 in the reflection of that TV. That was an experience, I'll tell you. Jump on this line, jump on this line, jump again. stay on the stairs here, because if we get hit, we stay right where we are instead of getting knocked back into this pit. Which, by the way, yes, this is now a pit.
Oh, I was up
This
there.
follows Castlevania logic, yes. Take an intentional hit from that snake. Stop on the third stair, don't forget it. And then we're gonna bring it around town back. Yes, I'm gonna go with that joke. Alright, so here's Hades. You won't see him, but I'm going to be shooting Crouching Lightning 28 times.
That's why you need your health refill.
Yep. Okay, so I kind of lost my rhythm here, so I'm gonna wait. Swing to make him jump away. Get my health refill. There's the last hit, and get ready on time. Time. Hey,
Very nice.
I'll take a 30. One thing that I want to explain about the crouching shots there that isn't really apparent from what it looked like I was doing there. To do those crouching shots, you have to hold down. So to do a shot, you have to hold up and B. So to do that while crouching, you have to hold down, hit B, quickly hit up, then go back down to stay crouching. So it's like every time I was doing that, I'm like rolling my thumb up and down to like make sure that I stay crouching.
So not only did you collect 69 olives at one point, but you finished the run nearly at 420.
Yo! And like I was saying before, this was made by a husband and wife who just were like, yeah, we like Zelda too. We will literally only see these two names except for music. And the music was done by the same person who did the music for River City Ransom, like I mentioned before. So, for a game that was basically made by two people and then like had the music composed by somebody else, this game is pretty cool.
It was very cool.
There's our music.
Hey! I mean, hey!
I do want to show off one more quick little thing about the credits here.
Sure.
And that is once it gets to the part where it says the end after this next text here. Did you ever want to watch credits again?
All the time.
All the time? You can hit start and rewatch the credits if you want.
Yes! Finally!
And you get to watch the sun go up again. Anyway, that's all I had for this. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Karma.
Shoutouts again to Breakdown.